middle section and react to my message. I wanted to know if, uh, give me a second, I'll type the message. So, y'all can react to this. Have y'all used Python before? React with a thumbs up and thumbs down accordingly. Okay, two votes. Others can also vote, please. Okay. Okay, great. Like I see here, many people have not used Python. That's not a problem. So we'll start with this first. So what are bots? So bots are basically anything. And first of all, bots are of many types. Like you all have seen Discord bots or Telegram bots, or also there are web bots. So in this session, we are going to focus on web bots. So what a web bot basically is, you all can use web bots to access the web autonomously. You all don't have to do anything. A piece of code will run and it will go through your Google search or your any website and basically scrape the data available over there. Data scraping is basically getting all the information that is available on the internet and accessing it using a bot, and not like publicly or privately, not by visiting the website manually, instead doing it using a computer program from your command prompt. So why to use them? So later on, as you all are now first years, but later on when you all will make projects for, let's say, data visualization or machine learning, or like I'm using all the big terms, but these all things. And where do you get those like data elements from? You get them from websites, and there are many websites where you can get the data, but it's not like easily downloadable or readable. So you actually need to scrap those data elements and download all the data pieces. But sometimes it's not that easy. So you may need to create bots to like access that data and download it. Other reason why also bots are used is to like create traffic for websites. Like we know, like website traffic is one of the most important things out there. Many websites have their payment models depending on the traffic they have. So more the traffic, more their ad revenue is generated. So bots are also used to like create fake traffic data so that websites can create and generate revenue. So coming to Python, uh, give me a second. I'll check the this again. So I can see like many of you all have not yet used Python. So that's not a problem. Python is a programming language, a scripting language actually, but it's very easy. Python is like you can say it's more like English. You can define the terms in English and it works more like it. Not like your traditional programming language where you all have to follow a particular syntax, brackets and everything. Python is comparatively very much easier. So, before we start with Python, I still want to know more about you all. One second. Can you all again go to general and answer this question? It's okay if you all have not used Python, but have you all used any other programming languages? And if any other, so you all can type in over here. Okay. Uh, any other scripting or programming language you all have used? Do you all know the basics of web development or like tags or how do they work? Like HTML, CSS. I'll add HTML also, so you all can react to that. Okay, so what I see is like you all have done thoda programming. HTML is not that much. Okay, fine. As we are going to require Python in this particular pod session, so let's start with Python. I'll teach you all the basics of Python. Give me a second. So everyone can see my screen, right? My display is visible.
Yes.
Cool. So let's start with Python. For those who y'all don't know, this is VS Code. This is a basic like one of the most popular code editors out there, which you all can use for coding. You all can use anything. You all can even use Notepad for like coding in Python. It's not necessary to use any code editor, but still it is preferred to use code editors so that they can give you more helping hand while you're coding using some extensions or anything. So let's start with the basic Python program first. Uh, Also, like Python files have a .py extension, and Python can be downloaded to its website and everything. So wait, I'll show you all that also as well, but completely new to Python. So python.org is the website where you can download it from. It's a very simple download and install process for Windows, Mac, and Linux everything. And then once you all have it installed, you all can go to your CMD and type Python to check if it is installed or not. So this will be the prompt that you all will get. Python is a keyword that you all use in the CMD to use it basically. Okay. So let's start with a basic Python program. Let's say, as I mentioned before, Python is basically English language. You all can write anything. Like if you all write print, it will print whatever you all want in a terminal. So if I say hello, so it will print hello in the terminal. And I can write Python and the name of the file so that I spelled Python wrong. Give me a second. You all can run the program and it prints whatever you want. So Python is this easy basically. You all just have to know what is the keyword for doing everything and that will be done. Similarly, like defining variables in Python is also necessary. You all don't need any data type or anything. You all can just write a is equal to 10 and Python will automatically arrange like a data type for it depending on the data you all have defined. If it is an integer, it will assign a as an integer. If it is a string, it will assign b as a string. You all don't need to define any data type. You all just have to describe the data value out there and it will be fine. So you all can see now 10 is printed as an integer over here. So this is just basics of Python and we can move ahead now. So let's say what's next. After Python, it's Selenium and why we use it. So Selenium, as I mentioned before, is a library that we will use along with Python to write bot scripts. It is used for accessing the web and like doing functionalities used for software testing, web testing, and everything. Basically, what Selenium does is you can write Selenium code in Python and execute it, and it will basically do what you all will do on the web, but it will be generated by via code. So how Selenium works is it requires a driver that will access your Chrome browser, and then that Chrome browser will basically do all the commands that you all have sent. Let's start by I'll show you all this so you all will understand more. Let's start by creating file, and so we require Selenium to be imported in this Python file first. Like in C++ or anything, you'll import stdio or conio. So similarly in Selenium also, you all need to import files first. So you all will import Selenium first. So we write from Selenium import WebDriver. So as I said, WebDriver is required basically to access your web. So we will have to import WebDriver first. So before that, I'll also like to mention that if you are using any library in Python, you all need to install it first. So that can be done. If Python is installed, you all will also have pip installed. So you all can run the command pip install, and you all can just run Selenium. So for me, it is already installed, so that's why it's showing requirement already satisfied. But for you all, it will install it at that particular time. Do you all have any doubts regarding abhi tak, like till this time? I will also like to tell you all if you all want to like code along, you all can do that. I'll wait for you all. You all can follow step by step how this bot is made. So if you all like have installed Python, you all just have to install Selenium and create a blank Python file for now.
Uh, are there any OS specific things that we are gonna do?
Mm, I don't think so. It will like this code will almost work in all the operating systems. If not, there will be minor tweaks that we can look into.
Okay.
Correct. So uh, pip install selenium is the command that you all will enter in your terminal if you all are using Linux or Mac, or in PowerShell or CMD if you all are using Windows, to install Selenium as an extension to Python, and then you all can easily just import it in your code editor, whichever you are using, VS Code, Atom, or Notepad, whatever. So now I'll move ahead then. Uh, So along with Selenium, we also require more things to import the WebDriver. So these are just like basic commands. You all don't need to memorize them or anything. You all can find this in Selenium documentation as well, which we will later share. But like these are just basic imports that are necessary for the code to run. So we will again import Selenium dot WebDriver dot Chrome dot service, and from that we need to import service. So what is this? Basically, we are using the WebDriver. So we will require the WebDriver code to download Chrome driver because we are going to use Chrome as our dummy browser. So it requires Chrome browser ka drivers. So that's why we need to import these things so that it can find the driver online and download it. So similarly, we will need one more thing, which is from WebDriver dot manager dot Chrome. So we are using Chrome, so that's why dot Chrome, and import Chrome driver manager. These are three basic imports that we require for now. This will basically import all the necessary things that we require for opening our browser. Uh, is this fine? Okay, so I'll continue. So as I mentioned before, we need a driver source to like communicate with our browser. So we will create a new driver variable. So as I mentioned before, in Python, we just have to define the variable name, and that will just create a variable and automatically assign its data to the variable. So driver is the variable name we are using, and we'll call WebDriver that we have imported here before dot Chrome because we are using Chrome, and service is equal to service. Service is a parameter, and we are passing the imported service over there. These are just predefined lines. Like you all don't have to worry about it so much that you all have to remember these many things. These are just predefined lines like compulsory to write for writing a Selenium code, and you all don't have to worry about it. And inside we'll write Chrome driver manager that we have imported over here dot install because we need to install the driver. I wrote Chrome twice. Give me. Yeah. So this is our line to define or initialize the driver. Now we have this, we can do anything we so let's access the browser now. Finally, we have been talking about it so much, so let's do it now. So for accessing the browser, we need to send a GET request. So we'll write driver dot get. Driver is the variable we will use again and again to access everything now. Driver.get, and over here you can write any URL you want. So let's say I want to open google.com. I will write https www.google.com. I can write any URL over here and that will be inputted. Let's run this file. Again, for running, you need to open your terminal, Python, and name of the file. Uh, Give me a second. I have made a wrong import over here. I had spelled manager wrong. I'll run it again. Hmm. Hmm. I have done minus spelling mistakes. Let me correct those. So yeah, this will open your google.com. So let's write an input statement over here so our browser doesn't like shuts down abruptly and we can rerun our code. So you all can see what our WebDriver does is it opens the browser and then automatically takes us to the URL that is entered over here. We can change this URL to something else now. Let's say Instagram.com and we run our code and it will redirect us to Instagram.com. Any doubts or anything you all want to ask till now? And did you all understand what we just did? Anyone? Okay, then I'll take that as a no and then continue. So this variable we can define separately as a URL. I'll just write URL over here and I'll define it as a variable. So what this will do is I can dynamically change it and it won't affect my function call. So for now, let's just keep it to google.com. And what our next step is, what we'll do, we will call this function and perform a Google search. So currently what our bot is doing is just opening google.com, but now we can click over here and enter a bot generated response and make a Google search. So let's see how we can do that. So for this, you all need to know what is this element called defined in the website. So how you can do is you can click on inspect and click over here. So we can see this file. This search bar will be named as Q, input class Q. This is basic HTML function input where you can add a text input and it is named as Q. Q as in for query. So we need to take this HTML element and add some text to it. So we need to keep the name Q in mind and we will use that as our query to send to google.com. So what we'll do is, as we are accessing the search box, we can give it any variable name. I'll give it as search is equal to driver dot find element. So what will this do? It will driver will take the selenium driver and go to google.com and find the element which is named as Q. So name and Q are two different parameters that we will find. It says that the function name is name and it is named as Q. And then we'll do search dot send keys. What this will do is basically this will send any query that you want to send, as this is a input key box, so we can send any input text. So let that be Google. We will search Google on google.com and then we will do search dot submit. Submit means we are pressing enter for it basically. So let's save this and run this again. We all can see first we were just opening google.com. Now what we have done is we have typed Google as our input and searched for it. We can also change our query to something else. Let's say uh, GDSCT set. So we can change it to GDSCT set. We'll run our code again. And it will search for GDSCT set. Mm, so did you all understand what we are doing here and any doubts? Understood. Okay, Jay. Uh, okay, so now that we have accessed this, let's see. This is the part where bots are used to access the data, well, run through the machines and create traffic and all. Now the next part that we are going to use is accessing data. So how that can be done is, let's close this program. By the way, you all can also customize this to take user input. So let's say you all want to ask the user what URL they want to put. So you all can just change this to input and enter your URL. So if you save this and you run this, so the user can enter the URL instead, and that URL will be the one that is it redirecting to. Otherwise, you all can keep this as google.com and make your own front end and basically ask the user to just enter the key term and give them the Google search as their output. Uh, so, any doubts or anything you all will like to discuss? Hmm. So, okay, let's move on to next part. Uh, so now let's go to the data accessing part. Uh, so this is a website where you can get statistics for COVID-19. Let's what we will do now is we will try to access this data element using Selenium. So we will require this URL now because we are going to scrape data from this URL. So I'll change my URL from google.com to this. And for now, I will just comment these search elements part and we'll focus on accessing this website's data now. So let's say we want to get the live COVID count for now. So first of all, let's check this part of our code if it's working or not. So right, this is working and we are accessing this website right now. So now what we have to do is we have to get all the data elements present in this website, and out of all these data elements, these add elements and text elements and all, we just need this one number which is important to us. So how we will do that is by using Beautiful Soup. So like Selenium, Beautiful Soup is also an extension to Python and which you can install using the command pip install bs4, which stands for Beautiful Soup 4. And then again, it is already installed for me, but you all can manually install it. And then you all will have to input it over here on the top. So what you all will do is write from PS4 import Beautiful Soup. So what does Beautiful Soup do now? Beautiful Soup does nothing but helps you to access HTML code using your Python program. So how does it does that? Is basically you just need to call one command, and you all can get access to all the HTML code of that particular website that your Selenium is accessing. So now we need HTML code. So we will give the variable name as HTML is equal to driver. Driver, the one we have accessed before, it has the current web page, and driver dot page source. So page source is nothing all the HTML data that we have and that we need to store in the variable HTML. So use that's why we can one second. Yeah. So driver.page source. So we are getting the page source stored in the HTML variable. So let's see now what will happen if we print this HTML variable. So you all can see we got a big input, uh, big output basically for our query, and it's nothing but all the HTML code that you all can access over here using the input. Let's see view page source. So this all HTML code we have now access to using this one command that we wrote, which is driver.pageSource. Using this, what we can do is we can now we have all the data that is visible on this website, and we just what we have to do is just pass through all those data elements and get this count, live count basically. So how we will do that is let's comment this out for now. We don't need the whole HTML code. We just need to access some part of it. So, but this is still HTML code. We want it in a string format. So what we'll do is we'll have to pass it to string. So how you can do that is soup is equal to beautiful soup HTML, the variable, and we have to pass it using HTML parser. So we write HTML parser. And now let's say we don't need the whole HTML code to be printed. We only need one thing. So let's say we just need this title to be printed over here. So that we can go and find in the head tag, and it will be defined under title. Let's search title over here. You can see this head. Inside head we have title. Let's say we just want to print this title slide in our output. So what we'll do is we'll write print soup dot title. It will again go and access the website, get the page source, and print the title. So if you all can see, it's the same that was all there. Title is equal to COVID live Corona statistics. That is what we got here. But we don't want this. We actually want the current number. So how do we get that? So we'll have to actually find out the variable name or like the class name it is stored in. So like previously for google.com we used a name q tag. Similarly this will have something attached to it. So we'll have to find that. Over here we can see it is stored under a div which is main counter number. So div is given a class whose name is main counter number. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to find that element main counter number, and then we will be able to access this data. So for doing that, what we'll do is we can create a new counter variable, or let's say count. It's a new variable that will store the statistic is equal to soup dot find all, and we have to write class because we are defining the class name to main counter hyphen number. So let's see what we get as the output for this. Okay, so now you all can see we got a array of list with main counter, and this is the number we want, but it is actually stored in an array. So if you all know what is an array, or if you all don't know what is an array, array is basically a group of variables stored inside one data element stored inside one variable. So what we are getting is multiple data elements together stored in an array. So we can access them using index. So we can write count of 0. So it will only print the first element. So this is the first element that we want. We got the whole, only the first element, which is 664,995,403. This is the data we needed. But still we are getting HTML code, so we can just like filter that out using basic HTML Python functions. You can write dot get text, and we will just get the text elements out of it, as we have already passed the HTML code. So if we write get text, we won't get the HTML code. So this is the number that we wanted. So now we can write this in a like better format. We can write print live COVID count. Let's run this file again. So now we got a thing, live COVID counters and the current number of COVID cases. So you may ask like why we need this. So this is one way of accessing basically data available on the websites. Like I said before, you all might need it for like further analysis or anything. And you can also basically convert this code now. Take this code and convert it into your own app, where you all can like make an app for like COVID counters and all. So this will basically show live updated data, which is scraped from the web using your own bot. Uh, Going back to the slides. So anything you're like want to ask from this like demo sessions where you're like saw me creating a bot for getting live COVID data. Any questions or like anything you all want to ask?
Can you quickly revise the code?
Yeah, sure. So first we imported the basic things that are required, and we defined the URL we want to go to. So over here you all can take any user defined URL or a particular URL you all want to scrape, and then we define a driver. Over here we have defined a Chrome driver because I'm using Chrome browser as my bot driver. You all can also like find a similar line to this for Firefox, and Firefox can also be used. And then we use that driver.get function. Get function is basically used to access the URL that is defined to call the website. What this code it does is it just like calls the website and opens it in your automated browser. And then what we did was previously we tried to find the search element. So we did driver.find element using the inspect tag. We need to find the HTML tag and similarly give its name. Otherwise, we can also use class underscore. We use class underscore because class is a keyword in Python, so it is defined as class underscore. So what we did over here is we access the data present inside the website, this worldometer website. For accessing data, we will need Beautiful Soup. What Beautiful Soup will do is it will take all the web code, HTML code available on the website, and then give it to you in your Python variable, which then you can later pass and like access only the elements that you want. Over here, we just wanted the main counter number, so we access that particular element, and then that gave us main counter dot number doesn't give us just a live number of cases. We just needed the first index, so that's why we passed it from an array, and we wrote 0, and we wrote dot get text to get only the text and not the HTML bracket elements description and their CSS files. We will also share a GitHub link for all this code, so you all can later on access the GitHub repository and refer to it.
Okay, and what is driver? Can you please explain?
Driver is basically in computer science term, drivers are basically used between two programs to communicate. Like for Windows also, like you will have some driver for your mouse or like say printer. So it is basically a way for your operating system to communicate with your printer or your mouse. So similarly over here, driver is used to like your Python script which is running on your operating system, let's say Windows, for it to communicate with your browser, which is for in this case Chrome. So we will need a web driver, which is like a Chrome driver, which will communicate within the operating system and give it commands from your Python program. It's basically an connection level between different multiple talking points like your script, your browser, your operating system.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So, mm, points to remember. Okay, using bots. Sometimes like scraping or accessing some websites using bots is might be a problem. Like many stock exchange websites block your IP because y'all are using beautiful super selenium bots. That might be a problem. Privacy, keeping users privacy is one of the important points to remember while using bots. And also like y'all need to remember if y'all are using bots generating more traffic, so you'll still might get blocked because it might be considered as a DDoS attack. It's not like using Python bots won't get you this much in problem, but like accessing a website using a particular IP address, sometimes doing it again and again using bots gives you some problems. Like sometimes Google search might also ask you to verify captcha if it's find something fishy. So those are the points to remember, and it should also not violate the privacy rights and everything. So any questions you all want to ask?